And I'm sorry, like maybe the worst crime of all of this is not even that he abandoned everything, his values, not even that he lied, not even that he manipulated, not even that he's a hypocrite. It's really that his content's boring. The caption says routine builds character. You zoom in, it's 9:22, clear as day. And he said he woke up at 5 in the morning. Why lie? He's lying about the timestamps to make it seem like he's waking up and grinding. He's trying to feed into this whole hustle culture thing. So remember that thing I said about him turning his comments off because he's in a whole heap of drama right now? Well, here's why. He just got caught begging for money on TikTok Live. He acts like he has no idea why people are hating on him. So here's some reasons why people hate him. If he's so confused, I'll fill him in. You know that quote that says, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain? Well, a new villain has emerged, and his name is Hub's Life. A once beloved creator basically built his entire online persona around the 9-to-5 lifestyle and telling everyone to stay grounded, work hard, and be proud of your normal life. His literal slogan is normalize the norm. But here's the twist. The second that he got the opportunity, he quit his 9-to-5 job to become a full-time influencer. Yeah, the thing that he said he would never do. And not only that, but he did it deceptively. He abandoned his entire brand messaging and manipulated his fans and audience along the way. I don't know that I've ever really seen someone destroy their career in such an irrevocable way. This wasn't just a career change. This was a full-on betrayal of values that they claim to stand for. So here we have Hub's Life. He has almost 1 million followers over on TikTok, and he has even more followers over on Instagram. So he has 1.4 over on Instagram. He built such a big platform by basically promoting the 9-to-5 lifestyle. He framed it as like, this is something you should be proud of, right? Working a 9-to-5. It has structure, you have benefits, it's aspirational actually, it's respectable. And obviously that resonated with a lot of people because a lot of people relate to working a 9-to-5 job. And not only did this message resonate with a lot of people, but it also sort of spawned like a new genre on TikTok of creators who are also filming their 9-to-5 jobs and showcasing them in a positive light. It's almost become like its own niche. It's got kind of like its own ecosystem of people that, you know, we're all in it together mentality. So yeah, this is kind of an example of some of his content. POV is the start of first full week. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. By the way, he's got, in my opinion, like melancholy music over this. He kind of like leans into this sort of chill vibe. My name is Hub and I work 9-to-5 in insurance. I've been working a 9-to-5 since I graduated college in 2017. Left the 9-to-5 during COVID to pursue videography full time. I tried it for a year and ended up burning myself out. So he tried to be a videographer before, but was like, you know what? I actually prefer the 9-to-5 life. That wasn't for me. I burned myself out doing it. Now I'm back to something that has more stability, more structure. Once my hobby became a job, it wasn't fun anymore. I went back to a corporate 9-to-5 and have never looked back since. By the way, this is one of his signature content things that he does where he slowly slides the laptop into his backpack that he works on. So yeah, started this account shortly after going back in 2022 to fulfill my creative itch. Fast forward to January 6th of 2025, 2.5 plus million followers, an amazing community of people, all for showing my normal life, okay? And showing others that they can still live a great life working a normal job. Don't believe everything you see on social media. You are doing just fine. So you can see right here his mantra, which is normalize the norm. And you can see it resonates with a lot of people, okay? 135,000 likes, and this type of content and this messaging, it is striking a chord with millions of people. A lot of what's behind this is he's encouraging people to feel content with their job. And this is what a lot of the feedback is. Honestly, your videos help me not feel like I'm lost in the world. This is where I'm supposed to be. Thank you for that. He's helping other people feel like they're in the right spot, right? They're doing things right. They're content in their life. They're content with where they are in life. They're content with their job and their lifestyle. And people love to see their life mirrored in his. Here's another one. Normalize the 9 to 5. Social media portrays a false reality that in order to be happy, you must be your own boss or be financially free by age 20. Reality is most people have to work for a living, and that's completely okay. You can still be happy and still be successful working a 9 to 5 job. Here's the caption of that. Okay. As someone who left the 9 to 5 in pursuit of other passions, I can tell you the grass is not always greener. Which do you prefer? 9 to 5 steady job or hustle culture of being an entrepreneur, or both? He's basically being like, look, I tried it. Grass wasn't greener. I'm happy where I am. Let me speak from my own experience. You're where you need to be. He also posted a lot of things like this. Why you should work a 9 to 5 job. Consistent pay, 401k, retirement, health insurance, lower risk, work-life balance, build a sustainable career, foundation to be successful. This is a lot of positive messaging around 9 to 5s. He's kind of framing, in my opinion, being an entrepreneur as more in like a negative light. Somebody says, honestly, 9 to 5s are probably the way to go. And he likes that comment. And somebody else said, if you can find a 9 to 5 that you enjoy, and he goes, facts. Why you should keep your 9 to 5 job. Stability, benefits, job security, work-life balance, build steady wealth, low risk, career development. And then he says, I'm not saying the 9 to 5 is for everyone, but I truly believe it can help build a successful career. Okay, a successful lifestyle, right? To many people, this was a breath of fresh air to hear someone talk about the positive and the benefits of working, you know, a normal job. He made a lot of posts about why your 9 to 5s are great. Somebody said, finally a TikTok that shows the good side. I work remote for a company 9 to 5 and my life is awesome. And people want to hear this. People want to hear stories of other people working 9 to 5. They love the idea of like somebody else is doing it with me, right? Like we're all in this together, and we don't all have to be on social media. Like we don't all have to be working super creative jobs, working for ourselves. We can feel good about what we're doing. This is respectable work. Here's another one. Hey, I'm Hub. I work in insurance and I have worked a 9 to 5 for almost a decade. I make videos as a creative outlet to my mundane office job and use it as a way to document my journey along the way. I'm just a normal 29-year-old living a regular life, and I'm here to tell you that you don't need to quit your job to pursue other passions. Use your day job to fuel your passions. You can still be successful and still be happy working a normal job and living a normal life. And he writes, join the movement. So truly, it is a movement. Okay. And like I said, I feel like he's the first person really to occupy this niche. I think he's like the first, and many people got inspired by him and started creating content similar to his. They joined the movement. They joined the normalize the norm movement, 9 to 5 movement, like, let's go. So remember that thing he said about you don't need to quit your job? He quit his job. In a move we all saw coming, he quit his job. So yeah, here's that post of him announcing that this was his last day at his 9 to 5, okay? Yep, you read that right. Today marks the end of an era. I've been struggling for a while now. Imagine working a full-time job, filming that full-time job, editing and posting a video of that job every day for 700 days, and becoming a new dad on top of that. It starts to wear on you, and you start to show up less in all facets of life. You start going through the motions in everything you do, and you start forgetting why you started this in the first place. You know, I think that a lot of us thought that he started this to normalize the norm, right? To showcase that a 9 to 5 lifestyle is a great way to live and that content creation is not. So you would think, you know, just based on what he's saying here, you know, and based on what his values seemingly are, that he would be maybe taking a step back from maybe posting, you know, because obviously he's kind of talking about how it's creating a strain on him. So I've made this decision based on what's best for myself, my family, and you guys. Today I will be leaving my 9 to 5 to pursue a new kind of 9 to 5 job. A person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. He's leaving his 9 to 5, right? Which a lot of people were like, oh no, he's quitting his job to become an influencer. But when they saw at the end of that post, I'm leaving for a new kind of 9 to 5, people kind of breathed a sigh of relief. They're like, okay, good. You know, he's still working a 9 to 5. He didn't totally abandon the movement. He didn't totally abandon, you know, the messaging, right? So here's another video where he's kind of clarifying what's going on, okay? Stop scrolling. You won't want to skip this one. Chapter 1, the last 2 years have been amazing, but also a lot. I've been doing a 9 to 5 and 5 to 9 every single day. Work 9 to 5, dad 5 to 9, Content creator 24/7. I've filmed, edited, and posted a video every day for the past 700 days. So I've made a decision to leave my 9 to 5 for a new kind of 9 to 5. Okay, welcome to chapter 2. And it looks like he's in a new office space. Cool. As people say in the comments, excited to see the video where you explain what your new job is. So it kind of seems like, based on what he's saying and like what chapter 2 is that, you know, he's not leaving his 9 to 5 totally. He's just moving maybe to a new company. Almost had us quitting our 9 to 5s in the last video. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, if he's quitting his 9 to 5, I'm quitting my 9 to 5 because we're all in this together, right? But luckily, it seems by these posts that he's maybe just got a new job at a different company. Is what a lot of people are thinking, okay? My first day at my new 9 to 5. Getting some more clarity here. Head to the office. New commute is 20 minutes. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Hub. I just left my 9 to 5 for a new kind of 9 to 5. Okay, so he's in an office again. You know, the content's basically the same, right? He's going on lunch breaks. Okay to work a normal job. It's okay to not be traveling the world or living on a yacht. It's okay if you haven't figured it all out yet. Because the truth is, most of us haven't figured it out either. Thank God you're still normalizing the norm. Thanks for not selling out. You know, he's still working a normal job. He was very vague the whole time about this new job for weeks. You know, what is this new job? Like, we don't know. We don't know what his new role is. He was very open about his last role. So it's kind of odd that he's not really saying it. He's like really drawing it out, you know, but he is saying that he's still working 9 to 5. Okay. So you left the 9 to 5, but are still working 9 to 5. Undisclosed Bloom ad, by the way. You know how that goes. Still kind of same videos though. Like, he's still getting up, getting his work clothes on, still going to an office, still working on the computer. Like, it looks very similar. Here's another one. You just turned 30 and you left your 9 to 5, but are still working 9 to 5. Time is moving so fast and you start to slow things down. You realize you can't make everyone happy and start focusing on what makes you happy. Okay. So once again, very vague, but he is maintaining, I am working a 9 to 5 still. And his audience at this point is still thinking that he's also still working a 9 to 5. Plot twist, homie rents out a random office space to make videos, laughing emoji. So he's like, people are making a joke like, wouldn't it be funny if he was just renting out this office space to just like pretend like he's still working a 9 to 5, but he's actually just making videos in there, using it as a backdrop? Well, what if I told you that that's actually exactly what he was doing? When you build a following big enough to leave your 9 to 5, but your content revolves around the 9 to 5, so you can't quit your job. Read the caption. So let's read this caption. This was a little bit over a year ago. Would you quit your job to do social media full time? I get this question all the time. No, I wouldn't quit my job to do this full time. I love my 9 to 5 as it provides health insurance, steady income, 401k, structure, career growth opportunities, etc. I enjoy the people I work with and genuinely like the work that I do. I have been making videos for a very long time as a hobby and passion of mine. I left the 9 to 5 years ago to pursue videography and social media full time for a startup company. I traveled 2 to 3 weekends a month filming shows and content nonstop while also filming and editing content throughout the week. Was making less money than I ever had and was working twice as hard. It got to the point of burnout and I started to lose the passion for videos I always had. I realized that once my hobby became a job, it wasn't fun anymore. I ended up going back to corporate America and have never looked back. Taking the risk opened up my eyes to the beauty of having a good, stable job. There is something to be said for stability and routine. I started documenting my normal everyday life through this account to serve as my creative outlet to my mundane office job, and now here we are. Moral of the story, you don't have to quit your job to pursue other passions. A 9 to 5 job is just a chapter in your story, not the entire book. Use the 9 to 5 to finance the life you truly want to live. Not only did he quit his 9 to 5 job, something that he himself said that he would never do, but he lied about it. He actually went as far to rent out an office space to stage content in and uphold this illusion that he was still working a 9 to 5 job and actually hadn't abandoned all of his values that he claimed to stand for. This was not an honest pivot. It was, in my opinion, manipulation. He prioritized maintaining this brand image over transparency, which is an insane red flag. It's especially disturbing because his platform was all about honesty, hard work, discipline, the value of this grounded lifestyle. And the second he got the opportunity, he dipped. Think back to all those posts. It's stable, the benefits, the grass is not greener. He was faking it. Oh, it's weird. It's actually creepy. Here was some of the feedback. Is this some sort of hypocrisy? Normalizing a 9-to-5 job, filming it for the goal of quitting the 9-to-5 job to become a full-time content creator? Better hope social media stays around. I wouldn't take that chance. True. And I hope it won't be too late for our society too. Instead of future doctors, engineers, we'll only have social media personalities. Remember when he convinced all of us that having our 9-to-5 was cool and it's okay to live a simple life? I feel like now we're just here to support him raking it in while we all still work our 9-to-5 that he worked so hard to normalize. 2,500 likes. People aren't happy. He lied about leaving though. He left, faked like he got a new job, and rented an office at WeWork to film himself acting like he was at a 9-to-5. Then he got an ego and is acting like anyone upset is a hater. That's another development as well, is that anyone that criticized this clear and obvious manipulation and abandonment of his messaging is now a hater. You're a hater. You're jealous of his lifestyle. You're jealous that he could quit his job and become a content creator, even though he said he was never going to do that. This is what he says, by the way.
100%. And most of the comments under that post are just simply not understanding that calling this guy out for seeing it how it is not hating. It's not being jealous. It's not being insecure. And with context.
Exactly. But that's what you'll be told, by the way. Okay, you're jealous. You wish you could do this. You wish you could be like me. You wish you could be like him. No.
It looks even worse because while yes, renting that fake office was pretty bad, you guys have to realize it ended up being a lot worse than it should have been because people would constantly ask this guy, does he plan on quitting his 9-to-5? And he would make posts like this with this in the description.
Yep, this is the one where he said, no, I wouldn't quit my job to do this full time. So what happened exactly?
Screenshots will respond to numerous comments telling people, no, I'm very happy with this 9-to-5 and I would never leave. Context is so important when talking about Hub's life because this wasn't a random guy creating, I don't know, soccer content and then switching it to being a social media influencer. This was a guy that was normalizing the norm, saying it's okay to not have all the fancy cars and the fancy job and just working that regular desk job is okay. So your content really loses all trust, all relatability, any transparency because you flipped, tried to hide it, and then when you got caught, just decided, let me just full send this new style of videos.
Interestingly, so when people found out that he actually had quit his job to become a content creator and was renting out this office space, which look, some people do this, sure. Like I'm sure there's content creators out there who rent out WeWork spaces and all that. But the only reason we really know that he was caught doing this and he's actually guilty of the exact thing that people were accusing him of, which is you're trying to fake like you're working a 9-to-5, is number one, it's obvious. But number two, the second that he was called out, we never saw the office space again. It didn't appear in his content. He didn't continue to keep going there. We never saw it again, which I find to be very suspicious. It really honestly proves the point of many people, which is like, you just got this to try to pull one over on people and like manipulate them into thinking that you hadn't totally jumped ship on them, which you had.
But nobody wanted to watch you to live a Kardashian type lifestyle with all the fancy stuff. We watched you because the common man or woman could relate to you. People want to watch genuine creators that are transparent and do not lie or try to hide things from their audience. Most of us are not mad at all at him for leaving the 9-to-5. But we're definitely feeling a certain type of way about the way he did his transition.
What people really want and what they crave these days is they crave authenticity, right? And there's nothing authentic about selling a lie. There's nothing authentic about renting out a WeWork space. There's nothing authentic about abandoning, the entire messaging around it. And if you're asking me personally, I think this is a case of someone's ego. He thought that he was the content. He thought that people were following him because of him. But they weren't following him because of him. They were following him because of the messaging, because of the movement of the 9-to-5. He had it was boring content. Like him going to work every day was pretty boring, but it was more so about we're normalizing a normal life. We're normalizing not living like a Kardashian, not chasing clout, being more relatable to people. Not only did he lose relatability, but it also just was completely illuminating to the fact that he's not a genuine person. Like he really believed the messaging and the movement, then he wouldn't have done what he did. Like if he was really feeling overwhelmed and overworked, like I said, he would have just maybe stopped doing social media. But what makes more money is probably his social media stuff. He was really chasing after that. Kind of makes you think, did he ever believe in the movement? Did he ever believe in what he was telling people? And did he ever believe that? Was he actually living like that? I think reasonably you can come to the conclusion that obviously he was not content with his 9-to-5 life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing this. That's for sure. And my personal read on this, I don't think he ever believed that a 9-to-5 is the lifestyle. I think it was always his intention to quit his 9-to-5 job the second that his social media got picked up. And I think that really, I do think this, in my opinion, once he realized that these types of videos were getting views, he said what he had to say in order to get more followers, to get more clout. And the reason why I'm saying this is because he's talked a lot about he wanted to be a videographer. He tried it before. He already quit his job once to become a videographer. He was doing that. Like, that's his real true passion. And it has been since he's said maybe like 9 or 10 years old. So that right there, I think is sort of eye-opening. But more than that, in my opinion, was this video. And I go, okay, the signs were there. It says POV, you fly across the country to meet one of your idols. Okay, this is a year before he quit his job. Who's his idol? It's Gary Vee. I'm sorry to say that Gary Vee is your idol and promoting that the 9-to-5 lifestyle is like be content, live content. Like the dichotomy is, it's so insane and it's so intense. These two things cannot be true at once. You cannot say the 9-to-5 lifestyle, never quit, I'm never quitting, I'm never quitting. You should be content with this. This is the way up forward. And also have Gary Vee as your idol. Gary Vee, if you do not know, is like a social media guy, okay, who was very popular several years ago for basically being like, post content, quit your job, literally quit your job, quit your 9-to-5, go be a content creator, post every day, quit your job, literally like just, that was like all of his messaging was just like grind, hustle culture, quit your job, go be a content creator, post, content's king, hustle culture. That's Gary Vee's messaging. Like I said, the signs are there. I mean, going to far to say, this is my idol. I idolize this person. I honestly don't think that he ever really truly believed in what he was promoting, which is the 9-to-5 lifestyle is the way forward. I don't. I think this is enough evidence. I genuinely do. Today was special. So cool to meet the person who's taught me so much about social media and about life. Thanks for having me out. The eyes don't lie, by the way. The eyes don't lie. He's a liar. I think this was always the goal, and he was gonna say anything that he had to get there. So like I said, he abandoned the whole fake office shtick pretty quickly after he was discovered and started posting videos like this where he's basically showing like his self-employed day in the life. Here's an example of that, okay? He went from a very relatable routine of like getting up, making breakfast, going to work, coming home, taking a lunch break, like that was very relatable, and now this is in contrast what he's doing, okay? Eating breakfast, heading to the gym, working out middle of the day, grab Chipotle for lunch, eating it in the car, picking up groceries, cleaning up, dinner time, feeding the dog, drinking a beer that has more foam than I've ever seen in my life, and eating dinner and watching shows. So basically, there wasn't any work. People do not relate to this. Your entire audience is made up of people that work, most likely. It was a total 180, okay? And this is one thing that really pisses me off. So this is basically what he quit his 9-to-5 to do. My morning routine as a full-time content creator, 7 to 12. And this is apparently a message from his manager, so he has got a manager now, okay, and an agency. And this was the text message: good morning, superstar. Okay. I mean, he 100% sent this message to himself, but it's weird. The concept/dates, if you can get these to me by end of day, that would be great. So basically, this is just concepts due, dates needed. This is all just stuff for branded, paid promotions, sponsored content. That's his new job, is sponsored content. That's what he's working on during the day. Just fulfilling sponsored content, concepts, deadlines, videos, things that he could promote to his audience. The ones that he completely, abandoned basically and betrayed. I find this just to be gross, okay? Start by brushing my clothes, making breakfast, okay, whatever. Check Asana to see how the day works. So he's checking it at 8 in the morning and then he's going for a walk. Okay, so he like briefly checked what his agency uses to give him like the to-do of the day, even though I thought he just got a superstar text, so I don't know why he needs to check that again. He already knows what he needs to do. Then he works out, and then at 10:32 he sits down to get some work done. And what do you think the work is? It's just doing sponsored content. So basically it's like content inception, where he's doing content about branded content that he's going to put out as content. That's his content now. And I'm sorry, like maybe the worst crime of all of this is not even that he abandoned everything, his values, not even that he lied, not even that he manipulated, not even that he's a hypocrite. It's really that his content's boring now. Before he had like boring content, but it was like a relatable lifestyle. Now he's got boring content about an unrelatable lifestyle, and it's also sponsored content that nobody wants to see. Honestly, a majority of, in my opinion, an influencer's work, a content creator's work, should be actually making content. But in this case, it's just doing sponsor stuff. It bothers me. First priority, getting that deliverables. Who cares? Goal of the campaign is increase brand awareness. Who cares? After getting a concept submitted, I worked on a video I'm doing with Chevrolet that goes live next week. Now it's time to run some errands. So basically he worked for less than an hour and a half, and now it's time to run some errands. You know, look, he might work later in the day. I don't know. He might work when he gets home from this, but this lifestyle it's just so unrelatable, and it's also just so boring. Day in the life of a 30-year-old full-time content creator. Here's another text. Morning, superstar. Hope you had a great weekend. Drafts due. Chevy drafts. White Claw story set. James Avery human story set. Human concept. So once again, the whole to-do list is just doing branded stuff. Sponsored stuff. It's frustrating. First thing I do, get dressed. It's just get organized and look at the upcoming week. My agency uses Asana for all of our partnerships and collaborations. Like, this is all he's doing. By his own videos, this is all he's doing, is just doing paid stuff. You know, the irony is that no one would be buying these things or supporting him financially if he didn't build this entire audience of people from the 9-to-5 stuff. Next, I head to the gym. It's just a lot of like, he's working out in the middle of the day for hours. Time to knock out some to-dos. First, I work on a concept for a video I am doing for a brand. The deliverables are 3 IG stories with an ROI goal of 3% CTR and 3% CVR. I mean, it's silly, and it's actually just kind of dumb. You kind of made this whole audience of people that it's like, you don't need to be a content creator. Don't need to be living the influencer lifestyle. You don't need to do it. I did it before. It didn't work. Hated it. Grass isn't greener. And now you're doing like content creator jargon, back-end stuff, breaking the fourth wall, being like ROI, 3% CTR, increasing brand awareness. Like, no one cares. I have to come up with a creative way to integrate while driving clicks and conversion. Constantly refer to Asana to make sure I am including the appropriate messaging and correct tags and hashtags. Like, who wants to see this? Here's another one. Day in the life of a 30-year-old full-time content creator. Start my day getting some videos posted and drafts edited for several brands. It's just paid promotion over and over. It's insane. Take my dog for a walk. Go work out with my mother-in-law. Is anything actually happening? I mean, he's doing brand stuff for like an hour, okay, based on his own timestamps, and then he's just hanging out in the pool. I mean, you can't make it up. You cannot make it up. Thanks for watching this video. It's how I make a living. He actually posted this himself, which is just kind of hilarious, and not because he's being funny, because it's just insane. So he posted, I will never understand the hate that Hub's Life guy has been getting. People loved him while he was working his 9-to-5, but now hate him because he is doing content full-time to be a more present dad. He still films his routine and is working harder than ever. He's also just like super chill and a really cool dude, in my opinion. This has to be studied. By the way, you can see all of his comments are off because he's in major drama right now because he's getting called out, and actually, the thing that he's getting called out hasn't even happened yet. Don't worry, it gets crazy. He acts like he has no idea why people are hating on him. So here's some reasons why people hate him. If he's so confused, I'll fill him in. Here's an example. POV, you quit your 9-to-5 to be a more present dad. This right here pisses me off because it insinuates to his audience, which is a majority made up of people who work 9-to-5s and similar job styles to what he used to work, that they can't be present parents if they work a 9-to-5, which is not true. What do you mean to be a more present dad? Okay, you were saying that everything was great. I'm content. You should be content too. What are you talking about? It pisses people off. He's a walking red flag. Day in the life of a stay-at-home dad. So he's now trying to say he's like a stay-at-home dad. He only quit his job to be more present father. Okay, even though he was saying a million other things. He says he's self-employed. He get right with me, stay-at-home dad. He says sometimes he says he's unemployed. Sometimes he says get ready with me to be an influencer. Like, he's just trying to throw shit the wall and hoping something sticks. You know, this is some of the responses to that. And you probably, you know, if you're a parent, you probably look at the content that I've already showed you. And at no point does it appear that he's a stay-at-home dad, okay? Not a stay-at-home dad if you get to run your errands and go out to lunch and go to the gym without the baby. Us moms have to juggle the baby with us. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 kids under 5 with no help at all from Monday to Saturday. My husband leaves for work by 6 a.m. I work from home, and trust me, going to the gym or out for lunch isn't an option. I work at home and usually have lunch at home as well. Taking my little ones out for lunch without my husband is very difficult. I'm so confused. Where's the kid? No stay-at-home parent can have that much free time away from their kids. Then you're not a stay-at-home parent. You have childcare. Exactly. Someone's taking care of his child, but he's saying he's a stay-at-home dad, which once again, you're portraying a lifestyle that you're not living. You're lying. You're a fraud. As an actual stay-at-home dad, this ain't it, bro. Yeah, they're like, no, sorry. This is not what stay-at-home dad life looks like. Any stay-at-home parent will tell you that. You don't have hours and hours and hours to go to the gym. Where's the baby? And, you know, he posts stuff like this as well. From 9 to 5 to 9 to thrive. So he used to call his 9 to 5 the greatest thing in the world. It was awesome. This is a respectable job. This is great. Like, I have all the stability. These are the benefits of it. Being an entrepreneur is not all it's cracked up to be. And then now he's calling it a 9 to thrive. He's saying he's thriving. Yesterday's ceiling can be today's floor. Basically insinuating that his old job was the ceiling and you can't grow any more than that, and that his new life is, even on the worst day, it's just it's the floor. It's kind of disrespectful in my opinion to his audience, because it insinuates to those people that they're never going to be anything more than what they are, and there's a ceiling, there's a cap to how great their life can be. And it's weird. Follow the rules long enough until you can write your own. What are you implying exactly? That they can't write the rules in their own life while working 9 to 5? Is that what you're saying? You see what I mean? You abandoned the message the second that you could. Self-employed morning routine, 5 a.m. So he's waking up at 5 a.m., doing a face ice bowl. Then he's getting into an ice bath. Okay, cold plunge. And I just want to point this out, okay? 5:50 a.m. and the sun is fully out. Sunrise, I think in his area is like literally, it's like 6:10. Okay, is the earliest sunrise. So I just want to point something out to you, that something's already not right. Okay, the lighting's not right. It's too light and bright to be the actual time that he's saying that it is. And 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Okay, I guess it took him an hour to shower and get ready. 7:10 a.m. making breakfast. Heading out, 8:02. 8:03. The caption says routine builds character. And you zoom in. Okay. It's 9:22. Clear as day. But he's saying it's 8:03. And he said he woke up at 5 in the morning. Why lie? An obvious lie. Like, why? Says he's walking in at 8:20. What? Here he goes. 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m., 10:16 a.m. He says he's going to Chipotle. Once again, routine builds character. Guys, I clocked this immediately. I go, wait a minute. Chipotle's not open at 10 in the morning, especially not 10:16. Do you know what the funniest part is? It's literally written on the door. Look at this. 10:45 is when it opens. I knew it. I go, I literally knew it. He's lying about the timestamps to make it seem like he's waking up and grinding. He's a grinder. He's trying to feed into this whole hustle culture thing. He's trying to make it seem like he's more productive and disciplined than he actually is, because that's a big thing with like this type of content, especially because this guy's basically, he's kind of like a Casey Neistat wannabe, if you ask me. It's very clear in just the type of content that he does, and like, you know, he loves Gary Vee too. Hello. This is a huge thing, especially with men and men's content and like lifestyle content and work culture, is this hustle culture and like the work grind and waking up at 5 in the morning. Early bird gets the worm. I'm waking up before everybody else. I'm getting the day started before everybody else. I'm out working you. I'm out hustling you. And he's trying to do that right here. That's why timestamps are so important, especially in this type of content, and the broader implications of why faking a timestamp is actually a big deal. Okay, people aren't taking this seriously enough. I know people maybe would try to make it seem like I'm overreacting about something like this. I have never overreacted ever before. And if you watch his channel, you know that. But it's serious because it's another red flag. It's so easy for somebody to lie about this. And even if he's trying to do this like for engagement bait, which is just cheap and lazy, you know, try to bait people into engaging with him, even if he's trying to do this on purpose, like it's still a lie, okay? Because most people aren't gonna clock this. Most people aren't looking at this. The average person's not going to pay attention to like, these things aren't lining up. It's a big deal. And someone that's so willing to and so naturally can lie to their audience, that scares me actually a little bit. It does. He's going in at 10:16, according to him. Full staff. I've actually never seen a Chipotle this full strength before, okay? At 10 in the morning. eating the Chipotle in his car at 10:25 in the morning. It's not even possible. So that's his day. And then here's another one. Friday, self-employed morning routine. He's doing the ice stuff again, 6 a.m. Once again, look at this. It's 6 in the morning according to him, but it's full sun. Full sun is out. Okay, and then look, he's saying it's 7:10 a.m. and it's clearly 9:18. And once again, like, yes, he's probably doing this to like bait engagement out of people. Will be like, you're lying about the timestamps, but you're lying. It just to me further proves that his whole entire persona is built on a lie. And he's willing to basically like say or do anything to perpetuate it. Okay, 7:45, 8 a.m. And here he goes. He's at Chipotle again before the doors even open. I guess he's got special access or something, influencer access that only full-time content creators can get into Chipotle before. Never heard of this before. You know, another reason as well that people might be waking up to, hey, this guy's not very likable. Okay, I think that's another component to this, which is just, you seem kind of like a sellout. It's disingenuous. You know, you're not only are you not relatable anymore, you know, a lot of people watched him, like I said, for the messaging. They watched him because they believed in the movement and the philosophy behind it. And now that it's just him, you know, not only do I not want to watch his life and like watch him be a content creator, he's not that likable, quite frankly. And he's also doing like these undisclosed ads. Okay, allegedly, I'll say. I don't see ad on there. I don't see nothing. It seems like you're trying to get one over on people. And here's another one. Once again, no, there's nothing. You know, he's clearly trying to put Bloom at the beginning. If you see Bloom, I already did a video. Okay, I already did a video on Bloom, so just go watch that if you want to see me complain about that. But this is the kind of stuff people don't like. On top of just like doing any brand sponsorship you could possibly do. That's another thing too. When you see somebody that kind of just takes so many sponsorships too, it's like it just seems like you're just taking whatever you can, and people don't want to see that. They want to see stuff that you genuinely actually use. And too many influencers these days are just promoting whatever comes across their management company or whatever the hell. It's a problem. It's plaguing the social space. Don't argue with strangers on the internet. They have all day. You don't. 0% of me is competing with you. So hashtag truth hurts. So it's like he's arguing with his own audience. Okay, I'm not saying this guy doesn't get hate. He certainly does. But he's misconstruing a lot of what is constructive criticism as hate. And now he's turning on them being like, they have all day to sit around and talk shit. And I don't. I've got work to do. I've got to work on my branded content. And I've got to hit the gym and go to Chipotle at 10 a.m. But now he's like doubling down, okay? Them, you seem so much happier now. Me, thanks. I stopped caring what other people think about me. Life is better when you do what makes you happy. Dude, the only reason you have those sponsorships and are able to quit your job to become a content creator is because of them and because of your audience's support. So remember that thing I said about him turning his comments off because he's in a whole heap of drama right now? Well, here's why. He just got caught begging for money on TikTok Live.
You gotta send a Galaxy, bro. I gotta get a Galaxy, guys. If I send me something, man. It's how I'm making a living. I don't know if I saw a Galaxy come through, man. I can't answer any of these. You gotta send me a Galaxy, bro. Sam, thank you for the first gift. Roses on deck. I don't know. I think roses are like not a galaxy.
He says, thanks for sending the roses, but the roses aren't a galaxy. I want a galaxy because the roses don't cost as much. He doesn't get as much money. And he's basically like, I'll only answer questions if you send me galaxies. Like being rude to people that are watching his live stream.
I answer these questions, but I really can't right now. Sam, where's the Galaxy, bro? Somebody
commented and said, galaxies are coming, man. And he goes, Sam, where's the galaxy, bro? This is how he makes his living, he said.
I'll answer like 10 questions if you send a Galaxy. You gotta send me a Galaxy or something. This is a lot more lucrative and I get to work from anywhere in the world. Make money from my telephone.
A lot more lucrative and I can work from anywhere and make money from my telephone. Oh, you can make money from begging your followers to send you free things. Send you money.
If any investments other than 401k, you gotta send me a Galaxy and I'll answer that.
He won't even answer basic questions without people sending him a Galaxy. That's just all he's doing. It's just sitting up here begging for.
That's the internet for you, though. No one wants to see you doing better than them, right?
Once again, misconstruing the hate, saying everyone's just a hater. They don't want to see you doing better. They don't want to see you eat. That's what everybody does these days. It's so dumb. Just stop. Just stop.
I'm just a regular chill dude.
Regular chill dude. Okay, so here's the worst part of it all. So he commented this, and by the way, I can confirm this because I saw this comment before it was deleted. He commented on someone who was criticizing him. I think it was the person that maybe posted the live stream clips, okay? And said, it was donated to flood victims, LOL. What is this?
Zach, I'm not begging for money, bro, but this is how I earn my living, so any little bit helps, man.
The eyes don't lie. That's all I can say.
I gotta get a galaxy, guys, if you want me to answer the tough questions. I know that sounds like greedy and stuff, but again, this is how I'm making my living now, guys.
Here's actually, this is me clicking on it to show that, see, it says comment isn't available. You can see that. Basically, he went on TikTok Live asking for money under the guise of this is how he makes a living, only to later claim that the funds that he was raising were actually for Texas flood victims. Okay, something that he never mentioned until the very end of his stream, almost as like a shield for the criticism that he was receiving of like, why are you on here begging for stuff from people? And he was just like, oh, well, it's actually for the flood victims, even though he never mentioned it the entire stream, according to people that were in the full live stream. Not only is this extremely deceptive and disgusting, but it's also extremely unethical if he is not donating all of that money to the actual flood victims. And I think he should post that he's done that, because that is disgusting if he's lying about this. The question that was written on here, who did this guy become? I think that this is who he was all along, unfortunately. There's no defense over this. He's been a liar and he's been promoting a fake lifestyle since the beginning. So here's some people reacting to all of this drama.
All right, man. So here's what happened. You built an audience around the idea of normalizing the norm.
His mantra, actually.
9 to 5, live in the 4HL. Like, it's okay to be a regular person. There's no shame in like having a stable job and collecting benefits. So naturally, the community that you built was kind of like made up of working class people that worked in offices, working 9 to 5, normal back end work. And yes, like, people are making good money and collecting their benefits, but like, let's be realistic. Most people working in offices, most of this like drone work that's happening, you're not making $200,000. You're making like $60,000. And I've worked in an office and I've worked a lot more hours than 9 to 5. And so I know like what the lifestyle is, and I'll be honest, like, it's kind of bleak.
I think some of that bleak mentality also is like in the what if of, you know, should I be doing something different? Like, I think there's a lot of discontentment that lives within, is the grass greener? And I think a lot of people found solace in this community of people and in the movement, once again, of we're all living normal lives, we're all doing normal things, and they took solace in his content.
And if you're not in banking or like a lawyer, it's a kind of bleak way of life for $60,000 a year. But what you did is you took a lot of people who were maybe coming to terms with this lifestyle or this existence, and you told them like, no, like, this is okay. There is not shame in living like this. There's nothing wrong with living like this.
He said this over and over again. It wasn't just like a one-off thing that he said one time. It was all of his content was centered around this idea.
You know, in the era of the internet, we don't all need to be someone special. In the era of the internet, it is still okay to just like earn an honest living. Then what you realize is earning an honest living kind of sucks, and working 9 to 5 in an office kind of sucks. So then you did what I would describe as one of the greatest intellectual frauds, perhaps the greatest rug pull in the history of TikTok, and you rugged your entire like community and audience. And you completely switched up on them, and basically everything you had been like saying about like, no, like, I love this, it's normal, it's great, like, it wasn't true.
I think why it was literally a rug pull was because it felt like the second that he was able to, he like literally pulled it out from everybody, just went the opposite direction of everything he said, and it happened so fast too. It was a total rug pull.
And for someone that is like struggling with with their life and what it looks like and found like peace in what you were putting out, yeah, man, of course they're going to be upset about this. Like, this is not surprising, right?
He's surprised though. He's confused why people are hating on him.
So this like double down you've done where you're like, yeah, like everyone's switched up on me, got too many haters now, people just don't want to see me eat.
Mm-hmm.
Are you delusional, dude? No, like no one cares that you're making marginally more money now, like hawking Chinese white label products on your TikTok story and asking for galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why these people are upset. Dude, these people are upset because like the modern American office worker, like that outlook is bleak and you were giving people hope and then you rug pulled them.
I think a lot of what Hub's life is experiencing right now is a total ego death. Like the whole thing of I have haters, you guys just don't want to see me do better than you. It's ego. His ego ultimately destroyed him. He thought that people cared more about him and seeing his life than seeing a relatable job and lifestyle. Like the messaging was the thing that was ultimately driving that ship. I mean, you could replace that guy with anybody that's doing that. And honestly, and people have, like other content creators are doing the same thing. It's ego. Even now in this moment, he can't find humility in just saying, you know what, I was wrong. He still thinks that he's in the right.
Everything that you had said about, oh, why do you need to be special? Why can't we just be happy being normal? How are you confused by people taking this somewhat personally?
Ego.
But dude, I was watching your live. I tuned in, watched this guy's live the other night, and it was just honestly like absurd how out of touch he was. Dude, I screen.
He's talking about the Galaxy Live. And like, I think what's really shocking too is because he doesn't really talk a lot in his content, you know? And so when you see him finally talk and you're like, oh my God, this guy's really unlikable. Like in a shocking sort of way, you know, come on, man, get some galaxies, man. Like he's not even trying. Like it's not like a dry sense of humor. It's like, this dude's just straight up unlikable. It kind of makes it sort of funny that he really thought like he was the attraction, right? Like he was the hot commodity that people were following and not, we relate to the 9-to-5 life.
Recorded part of it because I was so shocked. And yeah, if I had been one of your followers, I'd be feeling pretty duped right now. If I had ever sent you money or like supported you financially somehow.
He sells merch too. Like I'm sure people bought that, you know.
I would be feeling absolutely duped right now, especially for a savvy observer who has noticed that you have upgraded your vehicle and you're this and you're that. Yeah, dude, I'd be feeling pretty duped if I was sending you money and you were getting on TikTok Live and saying, that's not enough.
Another thing I noticed kind of around the time as well that he quit his job is he had like that brand new cold plunge bath thing delivered to his house. And I'm like, I mean, that's not stuff that like normal people have. It's like a cold plunge at their house. You know, I don't think he's hurting for cash that much, right?
Gotta send more. I hope you have a good relationship with your old manager because I'll be honest, I'm not sure how you salvage this.
You can't.
I don't know if you can. I don't think you can, actually. Can't. It was more than just like, oh, new content, like audience doesn't find it relatable.
You know, I think as well, not only can you not salvage it, I don't think he can ever do this content again, is my point. Like, I don't think people would be along for the ride if he were to go back to his 9-to-5, for example, and like just start making that kind of content again, because he's proven that he never believed what he was saying. And also now there's all these lies, fake office, the lying about the timestamps, the lying about I'm a stay-at-home dad, I'm never gonna do this. This is how I make my living, man. Like he's emerged as the villain. Once you see it, you just can't unsee it.
It's not about how relatable or not relatable it is. You rugged your audience. You betrayed your audience. If I was your audience, I would feel betrayed. Luckily, I'm not your audience.
I had to come out of retirement for this post because it is about time someone called this dude out. I've been following Hub's life for a long time, so did a lot of my friends that were stuck in the 9-to-5 corporate life. And this dude gained hundreds of thousands of followers, basically preaching that it's not that bad and having a regular life in a social media influencer era is perfectly okay.
Not only hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. he gained. Millions. Think about how many people his message resonated with.
And now I've been doing social media since 2019 when I was a Twitch streamer, so I know how this social media game goes. Now the problem with Hub's life is that his whole content was around normalizing the 9 to 5 and just the regular lifestyle. But then as soon as he became successful, did a complete 180. And that's fine. He did something most people would do. He started making a ton of money and was able to leave that job and do what he enjoyed, which is being at home, making videos, creating content, spending more time with the family. Obviously, all his followers were upset about this.
Like I said, I personally believe, just based on certain things that I've seen, like even in other people, you know, sort of like pattern recognition, I feel like it was always the goal to retire from the 9 to 5 when his social media got big enough. Like, I think that's been his goal since he's been young. There's nothing wrong with having that goal, but obviously there is, though, when you're saying, I'm never gonna quit, I love my 9 to 5, like your whole thing is that I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, this whole time you've been preaching how okay it is to live a regular life and go work your 9 to 5, and all of a sudden, you just dipped. And so when his content did a complete 180 and people started getting upset and being like, this is not what we followed you for or signed up for, he took it as hating or people switching up on him. His videos also made him seem like he was super introverted, didn't have much of a social life or friends, and just kind of just stuck to himself and just went to work, came back, and took the dog out for a walk. Hub's life, you preach normalizing the norm, but as soon as you were able to escape it, you did. So you can't really be mad at people being upset. Obviously, his name has surfaced again because last night, apparently, he was begging for galaxies, and after he got called out for it, said that they were only to help people that were affected by the flood. Now, I was in that whole live, and that was just not true. After he got called out for it, then he started switching it to saying that he needed the galaxies to donate it to whoever.
I'm sorry, this utterly disgusts me. That's a serious cause. Like, this is the thing. He's a grifter. He's an utter grifter. Everything he does, he tries to just, like, once again, throw shit on and hope it sticks. And it's like, he tries to just reel people in any way that he can. And he doesn't care how he does it and how deceptive it is as he's doing that. Ew. Meanwhile, the whole time he was talking about, this is how I make my living. Send me this. I'm only going to answer questions if you send me these things. Like, because this is how I make my living. Any little bit helps. And at no part did you say this until the very end. This situation disturbs me. There is absolutely no coming back from this at whatsoever on a human level, right? Like his career or whatever, there was no coming back from that anyway. His career, personally, in my opinion. And right now he's only getting views because people are like disgusted. But on a human level, there is no coming back from that if you're lying about that.
If you happen to see this Hub's life, please know I don't think you're a bad person. I just think you need a serious reality check.
I think you're a bad person if you do that. I do.
All right, marketing guys' take on this whole Hub's life thing. In marketing, there's a concept called the enemy framework. And it's this idea where between you and your audience, you have a shared value, and then whatever threatens that shared value, that's your enemy.
This is a very interesting video, by the way.
And in the case of Hub's life, the shared value was really, you can be happy and successful and fulfilled working a 9 to 5 job. And the enemy was really this like culture of everybody needs to be an entrepreneur on TikTok and Instagram. You're a loser if you work a 9 to 5.
100%. It's like so crazy that he's trying to do like content creator stuff right now. It's insane.
And it's not ever good enough, right? So he built his entire audience really using this enemy framework, probably not intentionally, but that's what it was. People were following him because it was this like backlash against the enemy of hustle culture, 9 to 5 isn't good enough. Again, everything that I just said.
And again, the irony is he's now doing hustle culture videos where he's like waking up at 5 in the morning, you know, allegedly, and doing a cold plunge and then hitting the gym and like being a grinder.
Enemy marketing only works if you aren't the enemy, right? Like as a brand, if you are
He's the villain.
You know, Planet Fitness, and you build your entire brand based on this common enemy of like overdone gym bros and gym culture, and
You can't set off the lunk alarm.
the entire brand is built off of like the gym. You're okay for the gym. Everybody's okay for the gym. If they were to then flip that and then become an Equinox, it would be a disaster. And that's what happened with this Hub's life thing.
It's a disaster.
Built the entire following based on this enemy, and then all of a sudden he becomes the enemy. He becomes the influencer. He becomes the guy who's posting about brands or trying to start his own brand.
Oh, not only just posting about brands, like intricate, esoteric stuff about breaking the fourth wall content creator jargon bullshit slop. Okay, it's like even more than, like, this guy is more than the villain. He's like a super villain now of his own making. He didn't have to do this. He did not have to do it.
He's not working a 9-to-5 job enough because it wasn't what would fulfill him. And I actually don't blame him for quitting his job, but I honestly think it's just a very interesting case study in this idea of enemy marketing where, yeah, like if you become the enemy, it's really bad. It's really bad for you as a brand. And I don't know if there's any way you can come back from it.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because I haven't really heard of that concept before, but it actually makes things sort of simple when you think about it. It's like, just don't do the one thing that would piss off your entire audience and make them hate you. Just don't go back on what you said. It's an example of someone that just doesn't practice what they preach, is inauthentic, and even beyond being unrelatable now, which he clearly is, you're not being genuine. And I think people want to see genuine stuff. It's really not just about someone simply changing their career. It's about hypocrisy. It's about manipulation. It's about ego. If your message is normalizing the norm and you're secretly chasing like this influencer clout life, and you secretly want to be like a full-time influencer and like do brand deals, and like that's what would fulfill you more so than your 9-to-5, but you're pretending otherwise, you're not being authentic. You're selling a lie. I saw this comment and I think it sort of sums up everything. And this was left on his video that he announced to be leaving his 9-to-5 job. And they said, "Sorry, dude, but there are hundreds of millions of full-time content creators, and what made your channel stand out was precisely the fact that you were a normal 9-to-5 guy." Content creators are a dime a dozen, like, the Casey Neistat, videographer, Gary Vee type hustle culture bros, like we have those already. What we don't have enough of, and I think what people are craving, is like that relatable 9-to-5 messaging in a world where, everybody is, like a social media influencer, an entrepreneur, and they're grinding, living these lavish lifestyles. And like, ultimately, people just want to see normal, right? They want to see authentic. They want to see genuine, real lives. Hopefully more real people will emerge. It's an objectively good thing that this person's been rooted out as being like a fake and a phony and a fraud. But yeah, I just found this whole situation so fascinating. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you do like these kind of videos, make sure you subscribe. I do tons of videos just like this one, many more to come. And that's it. I'll see you guys in my next video.
Zach, bro, I'm not begging for money. Live streaming is how I made my money, but this live stream is for the flood victims. I really need you guys to send some galaxies. It's for the flood victims. You didn't mention that before when nobody was sending any of them, and only said that after you got irritated. That's not true, bro. Remember, guys, these galaxies are totally for the flood victims, okay?